Something happened to you recently, something so profound that it rearranged the very structure of your reality without anyone around you noticing. You made a decision, a quiet choice that echoed through hallways you didn't even know existed. And that decision, no matter how deep in your soul it was made, shook the whole sky. You didn't just choose a new path, you broke a momentum that ran through generations. I came here today only to confirm what you already feel in your fingertips. You are no longer operating under the same laws as before. By the end of this conversation, you will have absolute clarity about three things. First, you will recognize the specific signs that have been appearing in your routine, signs that aren't symptoms of exhaustion, but evidence of an accelerated calibration. Second, you will understand the exact pattern that has been blocking what you're looking for, not because you haven't tried hard enough, but because you've been trying to navigate with maps of a territory you've already left behind. And third, I will speak about the nature of your current choice, so you can understand why the weight you carry is, in truth, the weight of an authority you've started to exercise without permission. The signs are everywhere, and they are unmistakable if you know how to look. You've been feeling a tiredness that sleep doesn't fix, a fatigue that seems to come from centuries of wakefulness, not from a single day of work. Your relationships, which once flowed like rivers, now seem to have turned into deserts, and you don't feel guilt. Just a strange realization that the conversation stopped because the frequency changed. You've been waking up at specific hours, feeling that time for you no longer moves at the same speed it moves for others. Hours seem to compress or expand, and you often catch yourself looking at the clock and feeling like you've lived an entire lifetime inside a single morning. Don't ignore this. This isn't a disorder of your biology, it's a mark. You were marked by a decision that shattered what was expected of you, and your body is simply trying to adjust to the new density of your own truth. You are being reconfigured to carry what is about to enter your life. Your fingers typing those 3 numbers are your spiritual signature, a confirmation that you accept this new phase. It's the smallest of agreements, but it's the one that seals your intention. Type 888, then come straight back to me. What you are experiencing is the direct result of you starting to operate outside of ordinary time. Most people around you live in a cycle of repetition, where tomorrow is just a slightly worn-out copy of yesterday. You stopped following that cycle. You began operating with a different engine, a fuel that doesn't come from other people's recognition or the safety of the familiar. You stepped out of the linear time of survival and into the circular time of purpose. And this is where the conflict sets in. The diagnosis of your current moment is not that you are failing, it's that you have become an anomaly in the system where you used to live. For a long time, you tried to do new things with the old hands of someone who only followed orders. You felt exhausted because you were trying to maintain a structure that no longer had any life of its own. You were pulling ropes that weren't tied to anything anymore. The shock you caused, the reason you feel this pressure, is because you stopped asking permission to be who you were designed to be. You simply decided, and the world around you doesn't know how to react to someone who has stopped explaining themselves. You are no longer a passenger in your own destiny. You are the captain of a ship that has already changed course, and the crew, still living under the old laws, looks at you with suspicion because they can't see the horizon you've already started to glimpse. Your diagnosis is simple. You are in a process of detachment, and detaching from what was expected is the most courageous thing a person can do. Stay steady, because what comes next is the revelation of the structure being built beneath your feet as you walk. Imagine now a vast courtyard, a place that has always existed inside you, but that remained wrapped in fog all these years. You always felt that life happened on the outskirts of that courtyard, while you stayed trapped in the dark corridors of other people's expectations. Now you are crossing the center of that open space. No one else sees what you see. They look at you and see the same person as always, the same features, the same routine, but they don't realize that your ground has shifted. You are no longer stepping on the dry soil of obligation. You are walking on the firm ground of someone who has finally recognized their own inner home. This crossing is lonely, not because you are abandoned, but because the path is too narrow to be walked in a group. You walk, and the fog that hid your purpose begins to lift, revealing pillars you didn't know you had built, holding up a sky you didn't know was already yours. Let this declaration secure your place on this new ground. The act of writing these 3 words is your personal testimony that you are no longer hidden, that you have taken the space that was reserved for you. Type, then come straight back to me. The reason this quiet decision of yours shook the environment around you so deeply is that you broke the invisible contract of sameness. You stopped offering what they expected you to offer, predictability. When you decide, without warning, that you will no longer trade your peace for approval, you create a seismic tremor in the structure of those who depended on your submission. They are not shocked by your mistake. They are disoriented by your freedom. You have become a mirror that reflects what they still haven't had the courage to face in themselves. Do not see this shock as rejection, but as proof that you have finally detached from the mass frequency. You have become a living mark of a possibility they feared was real. It's a milestone because, from now on, your life is no longer a reflection of circumstances, but a direct manifestation of your decision. If what we are building here today, this clarity about why your life seems to be in a different rhythm, makes sense to you, let your gesture be your wordless Amen. Not as a metric, not as a search for numbers, but as pure agreement, a sign that you recognize the truth of what has been named here. Every gesture of agreement is a signature on your own journey back home. The solution to the exhaustion you've carried for so long is not to add more effort, more techniques, or more searching. The solution is the return. You don't need to build this purpose. It's already there, waiting for you to stop fighting your own nature. It's like a river that spent years trying to climb the mountain and, exhausted, finally surrenders to gravity and discovers the natural path to the ocean. You don't need to struggle to be what you already are. You only need to stop trying to be what they said you should be. The return is a process of unlearning. It's letting go of the weight of expectations that weren't yours. It's allowing your being to rest in the certainty that you no longer need to explain yourself, justify yourself, or prove yourself. Purpose is not something you conquer with the sweat of your brow. It's something you receive when you clear the courtyard of your soul and sit down, in silence, to listen to the voice that was always there, waiting for the noise of the world to finally stop. You return to the original state, the one that existed before all the layers of fear were laid over your essence. It's a return to silence. It's a return to simplicity. It's a return to the truth you always knew, but were afraid to admit out loud. And now that you've stopped, now that the courtyard is clean and the fog is gone, you realize there was never any distance between you and your destination. You were the destination the whole time, just distracted by the path. The return is your permission to be, without any effort, the note you were created to sustain. There is someone in your life who carries this exact weight you feel right now. Maybe someone you see every day, but still can't reach. Think of that person now. Their face is appearing in your mind for a reason. It's someone who has worked much harder than everyone around them, yet still watches the doors close that should be open. It's someone who lives in a deep silence, a stillness no one understands, carrying a decision that seems incomprehensible to outside eyes. That person doesn't need advice, theories, or someone trying to explain what they're living through. They need confirmation that they're not losing their mind. They need to know that what they feel, what they chose, is a movement of consciousness, not a detour from the path. Send this message to them. not as a recommendation, not as content you stumbled upon by chance, but as a delivery. Hand it over like someone handing over a key. The same calling that reached you with the same precision needs to reach that person. You are the messenger of their confirmation. Feel the weight of what we're talking about right now. Breathe deeply, letting this clarity settle into the deepest parts of you, those that have been ready to awaken all along. It's a moment of transition, a passage that opens not because you forced it, but because you allowed your nature to reveal itself. You are marked by the courage of having said yes to what was invisible. You are sustained by the very decision you made, which now becomes the foundation upon which your future is built. You are called to live this new reality, not as an effort, but as the most authentic expression of your being. Every move you make from today onward will be guided by this new clarity, by this unshakable certainty that sprouted in the silence of your own choice. You are no longer the same as you were before understanding the strength of this mark, nor will you be the same as before accepting the weight of your calling. Before we close this moment, make a decision. Type the phrase, "I am the chosen one." Type it slowly, letting each letter be an affirmation, a seal you place on this new stage of your life. It is not a question, not a wish, not a hope. It is the confirmation of the contract you yourself signed by allowing yourself to hear what needed to be heard. Let this declaration become the foundation of your new reality, the anchor that will keep your heart steady no matter what happens around you, because you now know exactly who you are and which calling you answered. You made a decision that, to human eyes, looked like a detour, but to the structure we call heaven, it was a necessary course correction. When you chose to listen to your intuition, ignoring the voices that insisted on limiting your field of vision, you didn't just change your destiny, you created a shockwave that reconfigured the possibilities around you. What you live now is the result of that choice. It's the weight of what is genuine. It's the cost of the freedom to be who you really are, in a world that prefers silent conformity. Feel this truth settling into your chest. There is a moment, maybe it was at the start of this week or in a quiet early morning, when you felt a call that had no words. It wasn't an external voice, it was an inner recognition, a clear perception that the path you were following, though safe, was no longer yours. You felt that something needed to be left behind, not out of lack of love, but out of spiritual survival. If you noticed that this change of direction brought a strange but necessary silence around you, it's because you became someone who no longer seeks approval from those who cannot see your horizon. If this understanding is clear, if you feel that this choice was the turning point you've been searching for, stop for a second. Breathe in this new reality. There is a frequency of acceptance you need to anchor, like the number 888. Type those numbers, 888, and feel how this simple physical act of agreement anchors what you've just recognized. It's not about the number itself. It's about your movement of saying yes to your own authority. Do it now, 888, and turn your full attention back to what we're building here. The pattern you operated on before was the pattern of exhaustion. You tried to be everything to everyone, while your own essence was kept in a locked room, waiting for a key you already held but were afraid to use. You thought success was the accumulation of completed tasks, when in truth, your purpose is the depth of your connections and the authenticity of your giving. You are operating outside of ordinary time because you stopped measuring your life by other people's expectations. That shock, that feeling of being out of step with the rest of the world, is the clearest sign that you are on the right track. What looks like slowness to others is, in reality, your inner maturation process. Imagine now a great courtyard. It's a wide, calm space where the light falls in a way you've never seen before. You are crossing that courtyard. The people around you are busy, rushing back and forth, trapped in their own mental cages, unable to see the vastness of this place. They don't see the courtyard because they weren't chosen for the task of being in it. Only you, with the decision you made, can inhabit this space. You walk, feel the grass under your feet, breathe the pure air that isn't contaminated by hurry or anxiety. It's your territory of peace, where your true self meets your own truth. If this courtyard makes sense, if you feel you have finally found the place where your soul can breathe, type the phrase "I am here." Let this declaration become the foundation of your presence in the world. I am here, present, conscious, and finally, the owner of your own journey. Your decision to be who you are shocked the system because the system feeds on who you were before. It needs you to be predictable, contained, the one who accepts crumbs instead of asking for the banquet that belongs to you. By choosing to break away, you didn't just free yourself. You served as a mirror for others to start questioning their own chains. You are a living demonstration that it is possible to step off stage and at the same time be more real than ever. There is no going back, and that's the best news you could receive. Going back would be regression. Staying in the new frequency is your only option for peace. Think about how you relate to the people around you. There is a wordless amen you deliver every time you recognize someone who, like you, is also awakening. When you like something that resonates with your soul, it's not a digital gesture. It's a beacon signal. It's your way of telling the world that your frequency is active, that your amen, without needing sound, confirms that you saw, you recognized, and you aligned with the truth that was exposed here. It's the silent recognition between those who have decided to stop hiding. The solution to your restlessness is not effort, it is the return. It is the unlearning of everything you were taught about how to be, how to act, and how to produce. Imagine you are coming home after a long trip, carrying heavy suitcases with clothes that no longer fit. You walk through the door, drop the bags at the entrance, and feel the immediate relief of no longer having to carry that weight. The return is this. You don't need to build a new self, you only need to remove what is not you. Your true identity is already there, waiting for the moment you decide to stop fighting for what already belongs to you. You are a steward of your own essence, not a laborer of your own image. In this moment, someone specific came to your mind. You saw that person's face, someone who is quietly tired, someone who carries a light in their eyes that nobody else seems to notice, someone who is secretly looking for a way out of the labyrinth they've entered. That person needs to hear what you just heard. It's not an invitation, it's a delivery. Send this message to them, not as something you recommend, but as something you need to hand over, like a letter that was addressed to you, but contains a part that belongs entirely to them. Be the channel for this clarity. You know exactly who it is, and you know that person is waiting for a sign, for confirmation that they are not losing their mind, but rather finding their own essence. Your process of return is a natural movement of deconstruction, like the falling of leaves from a tree preparing for a new season. There is no effort in the fall, only surrender. When you allow yourself to let go of the expectations others have placed on your shoulders, your own structure begins to realign. You no longer have to perform a vitality you don't feel, nor maintain a mask that has become too heavy for your spirit. The clarity you seek is not something that will come from outside, through an external event or a validation that never arrives. Clarity is the result of removing the noise. Notice how, over the past few months, your desire to explain yourself has drastically diminished. Before, you felt the need to justify every step, to prove to the world that your choices were sensible, that your direction was correct. Today, silence has become your greatest ally. You realize that your truth doesn't need translation to be understood, and certainly doesn't need approval to be lived. This transition is proof of your spiritual maturity. You stopped trying to convince the world and began to inhabit yourself. This movement is lonely, yes, but it is in the solitude of your own essence that the voice of your purpose becomes unmistakable. You have noticed that certain memories from your past, which once brought pain, now carry only information. This happens because you are no longer operating from the wound, but from the lesson. The pattern that once kept you trapped in the cycle of exhaustion has been replaced by a posture of observation. You stopped being a victim of circumstances and became the guardian of your own time. Every time you choose not to react to a provocation, every time you choose not to apologize for who you are becoming, you are reaffirming the decision that shocked what was expected of you. What people call strangeness, you now identify as fine-tuning. They see a withdrawal. You see an approach to yourself. They see a loss of interest in trivial things. You see a gain in focus on what is eternal. Your decision to break from the frantic rhythm of the world was the spark that ignited this new awareness. You are not isolating yourself out of fear, but out of a need to preserve the sacred field you have begun to cultivate within. The peace you experience now, even when everything around seems chaotic, is the seal that you are in the right place at the right time. Your intuition, which for so long was pushed aside in favor of everyone else's logic, has now become your primary compass. Trust it. Don't try to rationalize the impulses that come to you. Your mind is limited by patterns you've already outgrown. Your spirit, on the other hand, knows the path, knows the timing, and knows the reward that's waiting for those who had the courage to say no to mediocrity. You are a pioneer of a new way of being, someone who decided that life shouldn't be just a sequence of tasks, but a continuous expression of your deepest truth. Keep your frequency high, not through grand achievements, but through small consistencies. Stay true to your intuition when everyone around you suggests the easier path. Stay true to silence when the pressure is on for you to justify yourself. Stay true to your own peace, because that's where your strength renews, and it's through that peace that you'll be guided through the deepest layers of this new phase of your journey. You've already done the hardest part, which was making the decision to break away from what no longer served you. Now, your only job is to allow the new reality to unfold, without rush and without fear. Every day, you become more able to tell the difference between what is essence and what is mere distraction. Those things that used to keep you up at night have now lost their power over you, simply because you stopped giving them your attention. You redirected the flow of your vital energy toward what truly matters, your peace, your connection to something higher, and your own integrity. You are building a life that doesn't need a storefront, because your satisfaction rests on the solidity of your inner foundation. You are the architect of a reality that, though invisible to others right now, will become your greatest proof that the courage to change always bears fruit. Keep feeling the weight of old chains dissolving as you walk toward a horizon only you can see. Don't look back. What's behind you has no place in your new frequency. Every breath you take now is an affirmation that you are ready for what comes next, and that readiness is the state of mind that draws in the next confirmations you so want to see bloom in your daily life. You are exactly where you should be, at the center of your own transformation. You sense that the rhythm of your walk has changed, but maybe you haven't given a name to this new speed yet. Before we go on, I want you to take a deep breath and notice what's happening around you. There is a person, someone you live with, or whose face frequently crosses your thoughts, who has been carrying an invisible burden. It's someone who works with quiet dedication, someone who has been trying to open doors that seem stuck, someone who keeps up a strong front while deep down they just want to be understood. If that face came to your mind just now, send this message to them. Not as advice, but as a testimony that you recognize their struggle and that the victory they seek is possible. You realize that everything you've lived through so far was not a waste, but a long, forging process. The isolation, the nights of questioning, the feeling that you didn't belong in the circles you used to move in, all of it was your spirit preparing to sustain the decision you made. A decision that, though it happened in the silence of your heart, echoed in places your conscious mind can't even reach. You chose your truth over others' approval, and that was the move that awakened the recognition you feel now. It's not about numbers or metrics. It's just my way of saying that this conversation has found its place in your journey. And now, let's seal this moment once and for all. You are marked, you are sustained, you are called. It is sealed.